Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Saturday, February 15th. Yikes, I'm rushing. A little bit of a shorter show today, unfortunately. We busy days, both of us this Saturday. So going to be like 35, 40 minutes. We'll see around there. But regardless, how you doing, Sam?
Doing good. Who couldn't be more excited about All-Star Weekend? Just the best weekend of the year. So much happening, so much meaningful competition, and we're going to talk about none of it today.
No.
we're only gonna talk about the Celtics. Had some tidbits of news come out over the little break here. Go around the league, check the standings at the break, go through your emails, and then we'll go around the NBA. Look at the news. Rat list. Get out of here. Pretty simple show. Keep you from being sad with no games.
Let's get right into it. Brad Stevens is not taking the job at Indiana. That's the news. Okay, next one. No, Jeff Goodman. Yeah, I know. Jeff Goodman in the Field of 68, longtime college basketball reporter, covered the Celtics a little bit. I mean, Jeff Goodman's Jeff Goodman, right? Tweeted that Brad Stevens is not going to be taking the job at Indiana. Indiana obviously going to have a head coaching opening at the end of the year, I believe. Mike Woodson stepping down or resigning or retiring or whatever the phrase you want to use is. And Brad, he told Jeff Goodman, said, quote, "I thoroughly appreciate being a Celtic and love the people I get to work with every day." So once again, Brad Stevens not leaving the Celtics, going to stay in Boston because he loves it there. And all of this, I do appreciate Brad putting the rumors to rest a little bit earlier this year, though. So thank you, Brad.
Yes. So since Brad has been a member of the Celtics in 2014 or 2013, technically, when he joined, there have been 3 head coaches at Indiana University: Tom Crean, Archie Miller, who knows at URI, shout out, and Mike Woodson. Every single time any of those men have no longer been the coach, everyone's like, what if Brad Stevens went and coached the Hoosiers? And every single time Brad Stevens is like, what if I didn't? What if I just stayed with the Celtics and continued to do what I do best, which is help them win? I don't know if this is ever going to happen. Brad, every time the rumors come out, is never interested, never wants to do it, never even entertains it. Doesn't feel like something Celtics fans should be worried about. Indiana basketball fans, on the other hand, should be worried because Brad has no interest in coaching their team.
For sure. And listen, I get it. Like you said, like it makes sense why there would be the connection made. Brad Stevens is obviously one of the best college head coaches before he got into the NBA. And it kind of feels like his coaching career was not cut short, but like he jumped into a front office role a lot earlier than it feels like a lot of head coaches do. And so
we didn't expect it when it happened.
Exactly. Yeah. And how old is Brad Stevens? Brad, you want to guess?
In his 40s, 43.
Yeah, he's 48. 48 years old.
Older
like,
than I thought.
But like most coaches coach, like Greg Popovich's 75, right? So to see him jump from coach to front office so quickly, it would leave the impression that he could maybe want or have an itch at the very least to get back into coaching. And obviously his love for the state of Indiana, he's from there. Like it's clear to make that connection. And who knows, maybe someday he will get that itch and he will want to go there. But if you're Brad Stevens, and I saw somebody on Twitter put this out there, like the Celtics have one of the most important off seasons ever coming up. You know what I'm saying? Like
best time to leave.
Well, like he'll have a lot of stuff that he needs to do, like this summer, like whether it's trading Drew, whether it's trading Jalen, like whether it's trading KP, you'll probably have to trade somebody. I think that's like the fun of the job. So I don't think he's gonna leave now of all times.
He's just sitting there thinking about it. He's like, I can't wait to trade.
Well, not in that way, but like
he has like a power rankings in his phone every single day that he like updates. Like somebody kind of like maybe they don't say hi to him in the hallway and he like puts a tally mark next to their name. He's like, that person's gonna be off the team in the summer. Also, tidbit about this whole thing with Brad is one of the reasons why Brad, and he's been public about this, has left the coaching position and decided to take the front office. See, he hates the travel. He hates all of that. Do you think he really wants to go and coach at Indiana and travel around the Big Ten and then also have to go travel and visit recruits and try and get them to come to the school and do living room visits and all that? Probably not. He would like to be in his own living room with his own family, but I don't think he's at the part of his life anymore that he's like, let me go see if this kid wants to come play for me. Let me go all the way to Georgia or
yes,
California or wherever they're from. He's like, he's over.
Yeah. especially with all the NIL stuff. Like he'd probably have to travel even more with all of the recruiting and everything going on right now. So it's if there was any time for Brad to want to go back to college, this probably is not it. And from the sounds of it, he's not going to leave anytime soon. So next thing, Joe Mazzulla recently talked a little bit more about his relationship, his admiration for Pep Guardiola, who is the manager at Man City. He was on a podcast called Men in Blazers. And Joe said, obviously nowhere near the manager that Pep is, but we share a similar beginning. He was coaching Barcelona's B team. I was in Maine's G League team, and they could have easily gone for a bigger name, but they go to get this guy sitting on the back bench with no experience. It became really a roadmap to how I wanted to go about building a culture, a team, and taking over greatness. You take a look at his tactical ability, his ability to manage the best players, which I think is what separates coaches in any sport, something that I thought I could really learn from. So, I mean, we've heard about Joe's relationship with Pep before. There's a few more quotes that I can read in a little bit, but it's really interesting. Like I didn't know enough about Pep to make that connection of like Pep just being a random guy like on the back bench and now turning into this coach, but it really is similar.
Pep's a rat, first and foremost. Always complaining, whining. Manchester City's done nothing but win under Pep for what it's worth, but he is a rat. If you're supporting any other teams playing really in Europe, you're probably rooting against Pep, and you're enjoying the season that Manchester City's having. It's not a very good one. But with all that being said, it's very clear that sort of thing has had an impact on Joe, because Joe is like a sponge. He really likes to learn and take any kind of lessons or strategies or mindsets that he can get from somebody in a successful position like that and apply it to the Celtics. And we've seen that. Joe, I mean, I was like randomly looking through some playoff stuff the other day, and they were talking about like Joe's path to being the coach of the Celtics, and like literally was like never a head coach. He was just an assistant. Actually,
Yeah.
Was he a head coach at?
No, he was a head coach at Fairmont, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But mostly assistant coaching, not a lot of
Yeah.
head coaching experience, and to be thrown into that role and have to decide how he wants to handle things, how he wants to run his team, how he wants to motivate his guys, how he wants to keep them in line. That's not nothing. That's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to formulate on the fly. And he's done overall a very good job of it, right? Like Celtics have never not made the conference finals under him. I mean, losing to Miami in 2023 was a disappointment at the time, but like in the grand scheme of things, pretty successful first two seasons for Joe.
Celtics have been to 3 straight conference finals now.
Yes.
That's crazy. Like really thinking about it, like that is insane. And 4 of the last 5, because they lost in the first round that down year that they were injured.
Correct.
And everything. Wow.
And it's what, 5 of the last 7?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7 of the last 8. No, 6 of the last 8. Because 17, 18, and then they were out in 19. 20, yes, and then down in 2021, then 3 more. So 6 of the last 8. That's really ridiculous. Like when you think about it, I know they've only won 1 title and they lost in the finals 1 year, but like that's an insane run of steady success to have. Some more quotes. Joe talked about Pep. Says, the biggest thing I wanted to take from him was, what's it like before you win? What are the challenges that come with winning the first one? And what are you like now that you've won? He has seen all those steps, and it just gives you great perspective as to, okay, you're going to do this for a long time. Here's what to expect. Here's how to adapt, and here's what it'll look like, or how to look at it, I should say. So I thought it was somebody who could really help me, and so I appreciate his humility, and it has been a fun journey kind of building a relationship with him. Man City has won 4 straight Premier League titles, correct? I believe.
Yeah, Liverpool won in 2020, and then it's been all blue since then.
Then Man City since then. So unfortunate, wrong red. If there's anybody for Joe to learn from when it comes to trying to repeat his champions, as much as I don't want to see Man City win, this is probably the correct person to learn from for that strategy.
I mean, it's the most recent form of it. Maybe talk to Dan Hurley. Be like, what's it like to win back-to-back?
I guess, yeah. College? When have we seen? There hasn't been a three-peat since in any sport outside of that since Kobe, right? Lakers. I don't think so. Yes. Because the Chiefs just had to get permission from the Heat, or Pat Riley to
directly.
use the term three-peat. So it hasn't happened since then, which is interesting. Like that's crazy. So I guess you really just have to look overseas to see if you can find something useful.
There's no like Chinese basketball
yeah.
dynasty or NBL or something like that.
I don't know. NBL past champion EuroLeague. I don't know, but clearly he looked to Pep because that is the most notable one. New Zealand Breakers won 3 in a row from 2011 to 2013, but that's 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
I wonder who was on the staff. I bet you we know people that were on that staff at that time because they probably advanced far enough to be around the NBA. Welcome to HBTC Tangents, where we talk about things that don't matter.
I don't recognize anybody on the Jonah Bolden. Oh, Taco. Taco was on one of those teams.
Taco Fall?
Taco Fall.
On the 2011 to 2013.
Oh, no, it took me to the current roster. Why would you do that? For what? Why would you take me to the current roster? That is so silly. When I click on the team, it's listing the champion is that year. That's ridiculous. No, I was looking at the current roster. Taco Fall's on the current roster. Wow, I'd love to see the roster. What a ridiculous Wikipedia page to have. What are we doing?
They pissed you off?
Dude, okay, no. Now I'm pissed off. Now you have to look at this because I'm angry. Look at this. So I'm gonna share my screen. So I click here, right? And I'm looking at NBL champions. And so I click on these 3 things, right? These 3 New Zealand Breakers 11, 12, 13. And I click on this, and it just takes me to this page, which is just the New Zealand Breakers, which is useless to me, right? Because it's just the current team. And then my next logical thing is I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of stupid. So I go here and I click on here, 2011, 2012, 2013, right? These right here, assuming it'll take me to those rosters. It just takes me to the season. That not helpful at all. So now, because I have to finish the tangent because I have issues, I have to go look at Real GM. What a mess, man. I mean, we're supposed to do a short show today. This is ridiculous.
Sorry, we have to fill a little time. There's not that much going on All-Star weekend.
No. They won in 11, 12, and 13. Okay. Oh, great. I'm so glad you don't have the rosters that I'm pissed off.
You can't click
I'm fired up. I can, but it only takes me to 2012. I wonder, and I know Dean Vickerman because I talked to him for the Ross McMahon's article.
Oh, I see.
But I also talked to Isaac Fotu for the Ross McMahon's article, so I know them. 2013. No, I don't recognize any like NBA players. Unfortunately, it'd be interesting.
I thought some of the coaching staff might have made their way over.
Well, we only get 3, and it's the same guys: Andres, Judd Flavel, DJ Vickerman. Anyways, tangent done. Joe and Pep. Hell yeah. Let's check in with your emails. A reminder, as always, you guys can email it. Actually, before we do that, I need to tell you about PrizePicks. Excuse me. PrizePicks is the best place to place all of your real money sports action this basketball season. As you're hearing this, it's the day of the All-Star game. So if you'd like to put a little action on the PrizePicks for the All-Star game, that is the place to do it. You can bet on the OGs versus the Dalton Connect-led Rising Stars team if you'd like. Maybe get fired up about a Dalton Connect piece. I will say, I do think those guys will try harder, so maybe it will make the All-Stars have to try harder. You're muted.
They're going to piss everybody off.
Yeah. I agree. But PrizePicks is the best place to do it. Again, it's today as you're hearing this, so All-Star Weekend is only relevant for a little bit longer, but you can make sure to check that out and see if there's anything good there. You can win up to 1,000 extra money on PrizePicks. It's the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Florida, obviously Massachusetts, which is where we are. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win the $50 to receive the $50 bonus. It's just guaranteed. It's the best way to win real money this basketball season. Football's over, so it's all basketball all the time right now. Which players are going off, which ones weren't. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn it into real money all season long. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, now let's go to the email. Let's see what you guys have to say. Reminders always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. We have a few to catch up on because we didn't get a chance to read them last time. But first one from RJ. Thank you for indulging my rant. Morning, folks. 2 convincing wins in a row to brighten your day. I was happy to see y'all discussing my gripes in Tuesday's emails, and you're right, making layups is the easier way to address the defense on the ensuing possession. And a related topic, I was encouraged by Mazzulla's reaction to the C's closed out the first half against Miami, calling out lack of execution. Props to you, Jack, for getting quote tweeted in The Athletic. Jay King's my guy. Maybe it's not a strategic thing after missing layups, more of a matter of, quote, don't compound a bad result with a worse decision in general. Very fair. Whether it's a blown layup, not getting the foul call, or general frustration, trusting the process means executing all of the process. Complain after the whistle blows, not before. Here's hoping the good, focused Celtics turned up for the Spurs game. Be well, RJ, and they did. Celtics have been a lot better lately. They've turned a corner, I believe, on the season.
It feels like it. Feels like there's plenty to be excited about here with March and April approaching. Good time of year to feel that excitement again. Better than feeling angst in these months. They've certainly just looked overall more well-rounded, more engaged in the last couple weeks. They've needed to show us all that, to be honest with you. Like, there was I never thought that they would not be able to compete for a championship, but there was like a lot of it where you just like, I wonder if they're going to be able to fix this, or they're just going to happen, or have to hope that they get hot again in the playoffs. I think we've seen them show that they can win games, even if they're not shooting the shit out of the ball lately, which is very important to me personally.
They have been better shooting the ball, though. Like Derek White's been better. Sam Hauser's been better. It feels like everyone's locking in a little bit now, which is good. Next email from Isaac. What's your favorite game that you've watched in person? Ooh, favorite Celtics game I've watched in person. I mean, it feels cheap to say just like a finals game, so I'll like stick to regular season just because, for the sake of it. I'm trying to think of what one of the best ones was. They've played some really good games. No, not those Warriors games because they're both blowouts. I don't know, man. It's tough. Like that. I know they lost the Rockets game, but that was a good game. Dylan Brooks obviously got hot, but like it was like a close, fun game. I'd have
you
to
don't
like
have any that you went to as a fan.
What, like 4 years ago? Like it's been a long time, I guess. Like I don't really remember any specific ones.
The top 2 for me, I went to the 2022 game 2 where they came back from 17 down against the Nets to win, which was incredible to be at. It was the height of the Kyrie stuff. Durant was there, like building was dead. Then all of a sudden they just stormed back, and it was a tremendous win. Really good bunch of highlights to watch if you're bored. And also the Paul Pierce game. That was a lot of fun. Got lucky. Birthday present, got to go to that. Really just fun day. Fun to be there for like something that is like more than a game. That was a good one. And being there for Banner Night was fun too.
Banner Night was fun. I'm going to break my rule. I want to go to a playoff game. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Jaylen Brown the shot, the Pacers game. That was a phenomenal basketball game. I think that might be one. That was top tier.
I was so mad really during that game, thinking that I was like, they just can't win at home. Can't win at home in the playoffs. How are you going to win a championship that way?
No. And then overtime, they like played really. No, Minnesota game. Jason Tatum take over in overtime. That is yes. Because I was downstairs for that game too. I don't know why, but I was downstairs in the loge, like in the tier 1 seats, and that was like the first time I'd ever gotten to sit there for a game. And it was like this incredible back and forth, big shots at the end. That was a really good one too. Good question. RJ again, Drew questions morning, folks. A couple of follow-up to Wednesday's episode. Of Drew's health were a real concern. Do you think the C's would move Springer at the deadline, or on the flip side, would JD Davison be activated for guard depth? Also, when Drew's out of the game, who has responsibility to call out defensive assignments? Be well, RJ. I don't know who has that responsibility. I think they all just kind of do it, even when Drew's in the game. And honestly, I think Springer's getting traded regardless. And I don't know if they care too much about upgrading JD, because I think they're really comfortable running one guard lineups and or double bigs. Like they're running double bigs a lot anyways. So I that's kind of how I see it, at least.
I mean, I think it would have been fun to keep Springer around. I think it would have been a win for everybody if they did. Serious. Like, I'm not even like trolling. Like,
I know.
I think if Holiday's going to miss time, it works out for Springer because he's actually able to get real reps and kind of get his feet wet and get more comfortable playing in meaningful situations. And at the same time, it takes some pressure off Holiday. Not to say that they feel like they can't play without him, because they just won like 4 in a row with him sitting out, so it doesn't really matter. But it is nice to have like somebody you can throw in there to be a little bit of a maniac on defense and really carry the load when Holiday isn't able to go. But God forbid you spend any money at all.
Don't say that. You can't do that. After they have shelled out more money than any team in NBA history, I don't think we're allowed to say that.
Cheap fucks.
Next email. Thank you, RJ. From Paulo. Have a great All-Star week. Hi, guys. Some elements of serene and a little more than moderate optimism for the post-All-Star week. If the team is healthy in April, and by the team, I mean Holiday and Porzingis, we're going to have a lot of fun. I'm also acclimatizing to the fact that Doncic was generally gifted to the Lakers. Let's face it, excuse me. Sorry. Somehow a superstar would have landed in LA in the next 2 to 3 years, one way or another. That it is Doncic is honestly not so bad. I wasn't afraid of Mavs Doncic, and I won't be afraid of Lakers Doncic. Finally, 2 years of Tobias Harris at $50 million doesn't sound all that bad compared to PG at $230 million for eternity. Have a great break. Ciao.
Yes. Have you been on Twitter today?
Kai Cenat scored more points than Paul George did.
Yes. Yep. That's what I was going to ask you about.
Bet your ass.
Paul George, 2 points in his last game. Very tough.
You want to guess his averages this year, including efficiency?
He's going to be around like 13 points a game on 42 and 34%.
Close. 16 points a game, 42.6 and 36.3.
Okay. Yeah, it's not bad. He's Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
Can you pull it up? What did Tobias Harris average last year, Jack? Let's see.
Last year?
Yeah, for the Sixers in the same role.
Last year, Tobias Harris averaged 17, 6, and 3 on 49-35 splits.
Oh, no, Philly. You found another one. It's the same guy. It's like the Scooby-Doo.
It's worse.
He takes
significantly worse.
The mask off Paul George, and it's just Sixers Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris, by the way, is fitting well with the Pistons. Good vibes.
He got a bad rep, man.
It's the contract.
I get it. I completely get it. It's the contract, but he's not a bad
Paul
player.
George is making $20 million. Everyone would be like, all right, sure.
Exactly. Anything else in here? Yeah, Luka. Sure, whatever. It's fine. I think the Celtics will get healthy. I think that's why they're taking this carefully right about now. So,
Jack, would you like to guess the get-in price for Celtics Lakers next month?
I happened to. It had to have gone up. Oh, it definitely went up because of Luka. $450.
$524.
Wow.
I was just kind of like, because Kayla and I are in the city, and I was like, oh, whatever, anything's going on tonight. We went to a show yesterday, and I was like looking, and I was like, oh, wow, it's a lot of money to get in.
What show did you go to?
Tom Segura. Great show.
That's fun.
Oh, it's so fun.
That's a good show. He's fun.
Yep, he killed.
All right, next email. RJ says,
live somewhere else, and he's coming to you.
Do. Definitely. He's funny. Celtics green and Celtics gold idea from RJ. Morning, folks. Here's a different question for you to consider. Celtics have been winning games without JB, Drew, or KP, or occasionally Al not playing, sometimes with two of them out on the same night. Could the Celtics run two different front court splits and still keep piling up the wins? Let's call Celtics green, JT, KP, and Kata, and Celtics gold, JB, Luke, and Al. The idea being that squads rotate games for a stretch to get the stars some additional rest and the bench guys some additional reps. How many games could the Celtics still win like this, and would teams would you not try it against, or what teams would you not try it against? Just a thought experiment for any day here in San Francisco. Be well. RJ, who remembers the old Superman red, Superman blue comments from the 60s, look it up. I don't think they would ever do anything like this cut and dry, like these guys this night, these guys this night. I do think they are like trying to get some extra rest for Drew, some extra rest for Jalen, some extra rest for these guys in there. I think they're trying to get some extra rest for Tatum, but he keeps telling them to fuck you, like go fuck yourself. But I do think they're like slowly doing this without like directly doing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like he says in the email, like they do occasionally swap Kristaps and Al out and just get the, whoever the guy sitting is, get him some rest in the back-to-backs. I think it's a fine idea. It's something.
Superman red, Superman blue. Interesting.
I wonder what like the context of that.
RJ, in your next email, can you explain to us Superman red versus Superman blue and like why? Like,
is it just like he's got like different characteristics split up between the two?
This looks like the Crimson Chin from Fairly Odd Parents. Are you familiar?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Okay. Next email from RJ, I believe was the last email. All-Star weekend festivities my way. Morning, folks. Since it's a break from regular season, I'll take a break from my usual moratorium on trade ideas, specifically throwing out questions regarding offseason trades involving either Drew Holiday. While I would love to see a trade that brings back developmental bodies and draft capital, I don't think Santa would be so kind. So here are the bare bones for my preferred deals. Feel free to pick them apart or seasonal draft picks if needed to make sense. Drew to the Clippers for Derek Jones and Norton Powell. Drew to the Pistons for Jaden Ivey and Tim Hardaway Jr. I know Drew staying in the East isn't ideal, but with Detroit, he would cause problems for Cleveland and Knicks, and as well as the Celtics. Again, feel free to scoff mightily at these, just some fodder for the long weekend. Be well, RJ. I don't hate either of them. You think the Pistons say no?
Yeah. Well, Jaden
Really?
broke his leg, so
exactly. So maybe I think the Clippers say no. I don't think they trade Norm Powell for Drew Holiday. They don't have scoring. Like Norm Powell's averaging 25
you have to think with Norm Powell, they'd be selling high. So like this is the highest you could possibly sell. Like your gamble. I mean, listen, it's also an aging Drew Holiday. So
I was gonna say I think Norm Powell works for them better than Drew Holiday would, because like if they trade Norm Powell, who scores for them? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he's more
does
important.
all the dribbles since does watch.
I know.
Bank on Kawhi being healthy.
I don't think they would. That's a dangerous bank to make. I don't think they're making that bank anymore. I feel like the Magic could maybe be a team you look at if they want to get a guard in there to play with their core. I don't know what you
dream. I had a dream that the Magic just straight up like waived Jalen Suggs. They're like,
yeah,
we don't want to pay him anymore.
And the Celtics got him.
No, I just had a dream. Like we were just like doing a show and it like broke. We were like, why would they do that?
What a ridiculous
the CBA's that like much of a vice grip on the league. They're like, man, that was a bad contract. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I mean the Magic, maybe you could get back like it'd be tough to get back anything super significant from them because I don't think they're going to trade much of their young core. You could maybe look at like if the Spurs at that point are trying to be more competitive. If it's hard because the money he makes and stuff, but like maybe the Grizzlies, I don't know if they're going to trade with the Celtics for a defensive minded guard again, but you can look around the league and see who wants to do what. I don't know. It'll be interesting this summer to see what teams are at where, because I honestly think a lot of it will depend on what teams do well in the playoffs, what teams don't do well, what teams want to buy and buy into their current cores, what teams are looking to get out of their current cores. So I think it might be a lot of wait and see, but I don't hate these idea. I think the Pistons one's interesting. I don't know if they do it. I think it'll depend on what their season looks like. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes this summer. Speaking of the Pistons and the rest of the NBA, let's check in with the standings. I was about to do like the whole reminder as always thing that I do for emails, but we're just not doing that.
Change the background. You pull it up.
Okay, thank you. Cleveland Cavaliers still in first place. Shocker. They're 44-10 going into the All-Star break. We finally have like a few days for this to settle. Celtics in second, 5.5 games back. They've created a little bit of separation from the Knicks, 2.5 games up on them. Pacers in fourth. Pacers are finally having the season that I think you thought they would have, and I thought they'd be better than they were, but you were very high on the Pacers, and they look a lot better lately.
Just thought
Bucks
try.
I know. I mean, I don't think it was a matter of not trying. I think it was Tyrese Halliburton was as cold can be at the start of the season. And Andrew Nembhard was hurt for a little bit, so he's back. Bucks and Pistons rounding out that top six, and Pistons a 2.5 game lead on the Magic right now. They're 3 games above 500 at 29.
A game back of the Milwaukee Bucks at the fucking All-Star break.
If Pistons you told me that in
September, I would have been like, wow.
The Pistons are 2 games out of home court advantage in the first round.
I would want to see the Pistons, especially if I'm
That's unbelievable.
They've owned the Knicks.
I'm in on the Pistons, man. I like the Pistons. The Pistons are fun.
Pistons longest win streak in the conference with Cleveland. Watch out.
Yeah. Magic, Hawks, Heat, Bulls down there in the 7 through 10. Sixers, 1.5 out of 10 still. They're fucking terrible. They've lost 5 in a row. Nets, Raptors, Hornets, Wizards. The Nets have won 3 in a row. They're, for some reason, fighting to be good unintentionally. And then the Wizards still haven't won 10 games.
Those who are listening on audio, or maybe just aren't closely looking at the screen, at the All-Star break, the Brooklyn Nets and Philadelphia 76ers have the same record.
Indeed. Ben Simmons and the Sixers had the same record through the All-Star break. Ben Simmons now Clipper.
A Sixers fan that in September. They just got Paul George. They're all like great offseason for the Sixers. Really did a good job at filling out the bench. Here they are, losers of 5 straight, including a disastrous stumble at the finish line loss to the Raptors, where Embiid was wide open for a 3 to take the lead, and he said, "You know what? Let me go into 3 guys," and lost the ball.
Mm-hmm. Sixers longest losing streak in the Eastern Conference.
More
than the Pistons,
not quite Pistons,
or the Wizards,
or Pistons watch.
Not Pistons watch. Western Conference. Thunder still up top, 44-10. Grizzlies, Nuggets right behind them, but 8 games behind them and 8.5 games behind them. Nuggets have leapfrogged the Rockets for 3rd place. Rockets still there. Lakers only half a game back of the Rockets for home court advantage. Clippers in 6th still. Wolves, Mavs, Kings, Warriors. Then you got the Suns and the Spurs. The Spurs are slowly falling out of that contention, as are the Suns, who are bad again. Blazers have found this nice little middle ground for them. They're a game and a half behind the Spurs, but they're nowhere near as bad as the Jazz and the Pelicans, who are at the bottom of the conference still.
Finally starting to see some separation from at least like the play-in plus Phoenix, and then the rest of the teams. Like San Antonio's not quite hanging around as much.
They're 2 games back, yeah.
How about Denver and Houston? Didn't know Denver had won 8 straight until you pulled this up, and then the Rockets. Shout out to the Rockets, by the way, who have lost 7 of their last 10, and sure as shit they beat the Celtics in that span. They've just been terrible, falling off the face of the earth. I shouldn't say no longer, but for the last 2 weeks have been terrible. They still found a way to beat the Celtics. It's just how it goes. Wow, Denver! Wow, Denver may not be dead. Maybe Denver's back.
Denver's good.
They're coming.
Christian Brown has been really good this year, which is a big part of it, I think. What I was gonna say is this is what does it for me. So Cavs have a 10.8 plus 10.8 point differential. Celtics 9.1. Thunder is 12.9. The Thunder are beating teams by an average of 13 points a game. That's fucking unbelievable.
And they just got Chet back too.
Yeah, I know. Scary team. NBA things. Brandon Ingram has signed an extension with the Raptors. 3 years, $120 million, $40 million a season for Mr. Ingram. I want to call them Bulls East, but they're still in the East, so they can be Bulls North. They're Bulls North. That's what they are.
I do wonder what the appropriate price tag for Brandon Ingram is. Because a max or super, the most you could pay anybody right now is what? $65, $70 million a season?
I'd pay him 30 mil. A DeJounte Murray contract is what I look at.
They're on $10 million more than that. Toronto's in a weird place, though, because they can low-key afford to do this because they have, the people that they want to have going forward are already there. You're just banking on RJ getting better and Scotty getting better and quickly being worth the money. And then hopefully you hit on some draft picks to round out and also Grady Dick, and then round out the roster with some draft capital. But, man, it feels like that's a little bit of an overpay.
It's not even the fact that it might be an overpay. It's the fact that their core for the next 4 seasons is Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickly. Just not going to be very good.
Playing merchants. That's
what I'm saying.
Great playing teams of the generation.
They're the Bulls. That's why I called them the Bulls. They're just going to be playing fodder. That's all they are. I just don't see the vision, man. I get maybe you just want to get talent, but I don't know. What a disaster. If they win the lottery this year, maybe they're fine. They get Cooper Flag, and then you'll have a good core around Cooper Flag, but it's a big if. It's a big maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan.
That Ingram contract might not be terrible by the time it's done. I don't know. It's not the worst it could have been. And
no, it's not the worst.
That is interesting about all this is he turned down more money from the Pelicans. They offered him 160, and I think it might have been over the same span. And he was like, nah.
3 years, 160.
I saw maybe it was 4 years. Maybe they just added an extra year to that contract. But I do see that I saw that the Pelicans had offered him more total money. Okay.
4 year, 160. Yeah.
And he turned it down. So he turned down the same annual salary.
Honestly, no, I'd rather be. Where would you rather be?
Toronto.
Really?
I mean, you have to think Toronto is the biggest city in that country.
No, I'm saying in terms of Yeah, because like in theory, the Pelicans should be better than the Raptors, but they cannot stay healthy.
Dyson Daniels said they're cursed.
They're cursed.
I would get
don't know,
away.
man. Hey, listen, I was high on the Raptors coming into this year. I stand by it. They've been really hurt this year. I think they should have been better. I think they'll be fine. Like, I think they could be a Pistons-esque team next year, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, a few games above 500, maybe fighting in the play-in for that 6th seed, which is fine. But past that, I just don't think they're going to do much. So
the Pelicans also have like the worst set of like default normal jerseys in the NBA. So I think that has to play a factor. Yeah. That gold, they need to get rid of the gold. It's just awful.
Yeah, it's bad. Next thing, the Hornets are disputing the fact that the Lakers have rescinded the Mark Williams trade. So Charlotte Hornets are attempting to dispute the Lakers' failed physical assessment of Mark Williams that resulted in the rescinded trade. Shams reported that the Hornets have, quote, been in contact with the NBA and will, quote, weigh avenues to challenge the Lakers failing Williams' physical and reversing the trade. The Lakers initially sent rookie, blah, 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 explaining the trade. So they're like saying, no, he shouldn't have failed your physical. We want to challenge this. Like, what a disaster this is. What a mess.
I mean, you can't imagine Mark Williams playing for the Hornets again because they're like, we really don't want you. Like, please leave. We're
this
so
is bad,
mad
man.
That we're going to make a whole stink with the whole league and be like, please let him leave our team.
It's so awkward. It's like, it's so, what a rough spot to be in. What bad, like, I don't know how you deal with this. Like, because you're Mark Williams, what are you going to do? Like,
anybody doing that is no fun.
I know. Has he played in the game since the trade was, because Dalton Connect played the other night, I think. So I'm wondering if Mark Williams like played.
He can't be playing in games if he couldn't pass the physical.
He was playing before the physical, I think. Yeah, he played on the 5th.
Right?
He played on the 24th, 27th, the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th of February. So he was playing. And he's been out for personal reasons, which is I just got traded and not traded, which is Dalton Connect was out for that too. This is like as it was going on. So
they have a point.
Man. Yeah, no, he's
been
inactive.
I don't know. Maybe there's a point.
9th, 10th.
That's 12th. So weird.
Well, okay. So what's weird is Basketball Reference has him listed as inactive for 4 straight games, but one of those games is a game like with the Lakers, but I don't think he was ever officially traded to the Lakers. So like this whole thing is so odd. Well, no, if the Lakers have a point, but he's only out for personal reasons while they figure the trade out. Like he's not out because he's hurt. He was playing until this.
I see.
And he had been playing he came back from for the season on December 3rd, and since then has missed 1, 2, 3, 4. He's only missed 5 games since December 3rd, so he's been playing. But yeah, man, and he's been playing really well. He had a 38-point game this season.
Clearly, he's got something physically wrong with him.
I don't know. Who knows, man? Last NBA thing before the rat list. The Bulls declined a trade that would have netted them a first-round pick for Lonzo Ball. The theory swirling around is that it was a first-round pick and, dead money, which people are speculating that it was the Grizzlies trying to trade Marcus and a first-round pick for Lonzo. And the Bulls decided, we don't want a first-round pick. In the most classic Bulls thing ever. What a fucking awful franchise, man.
They hate young players. They got to be careful with Josh Giddey. That's all.
Did you hear what Arturas Karnisovas said? He said, there's multiple routes to a championship. One of them is having stars and supporting players. The other is having 8 or 9 high-level guys that you're confident in. We're going that route. And everyone's just like, brother. No, name the last championship team that had 8 or 9 high-level guys.
It's the meme of the dude with the hand on his shoulder.
He's trying to be the 04 Pistons so bad.
And you can have 8 or 9 high-level guys, but they have to be high-level guys. It's like what the Celtics have. It's not like some of those guys are superstars. It's just they happen to have a lot of high-level players, regardless if they're a mega star. Like all the guys on the bench are still like elite at something.
But Sam, you're underestimating. They really, really like Patrick Williams. They really like Vucevic. They really like Ayo Dosunmu.
I mean,
you want to guess?
So is Moss.
How many players on the Bulls are averaging 10 plus points this season? Would you like to guess? I don't know. I haven't looked.
7.
I was gonna say 6, minus Zach LaVine. I'm not counting him. You want to guess again?
Vucevic.
Yep.
Sunmu, Kobe White.
Yep.
Giddey.
Yep. End of list.
Oh, well, I went 4 for 4. I didn't even guess wrong. I didn't step on any mind.
They have 8 or 9 high-level guys, but only 4 players are averaging over 10 points.
Because they play team ball. That's all.
And none of them are averaging 20. Don't worry, they have a lot of guys averaging 5. You got 13 guys averaging 5 or more, but that's only because some of them have just got there.
Everybody gets involved. Very good.
Kevin Huerter. I saw King of the Fourth Quarter tweet about Kevin Huerter, and he was like, "Oh, it's that bad." Kevin Huerter has played 3 games for the Bulls. He shot 1 of 12 from 3.
The Bulls are dead.
Yeah. What a mess, man. All right, Sam. Rat list. What do you got for me?
Rat list is my GPS. So me and the lady have been navigating through Boston. We took the commuter rail and to get to, we're staying in the Seaport area. So to get to the Seaport from the commuter rail, those of you that live here or are familiar with the train system know that from South Station, you can take the Silver Line to get over here. For whatever reason, my GPS just refuses to acknowledge that the Silver Line exists. So we were out of the train station yesterday waiting for the 7 bus for 15 minutes in the cold, rather than just getting on the Silver Line and taking that over here and then walking. I have no idea why it hates the Silver Line so much, but it's like, yeah, that doesn't exist.
The buses?
You know how well, what do you mean?
So Silver Line's buses.
It is buses, but it's its own thing.
Yeah.
I mean buses that are not in tunnels that are made specifically for the Silver Line. These are just your average street bus, which is fine, but you have to wait out on the street in the freezing cold. If you get the Silver Line from South Station, you're inside, it's kind of warm, you're not in the wind. It's much better. It's a much better experience. Sometimes when you put in a certain destination in your Apple Maps, it's here are 10 different ways you can go if you want. This is just here's a couple different ways, but fuck the Silver Line. You're not getting on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's such a close walk to where we're staying. I don't get it.
Yeah. Silver Line's fucked. So you're in, Seaport's just so disconnected from any of the actual tea.
Yeah. I mean, the Silver Line's fine. It's pretty close. You can get right to South Station and go from there. But
I mean, you could just walk to South Station and go from there. How far is that walk for you, though? How deep into Seaport
probably
are you?
15 to 20 minutes.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of far. Yeah, okay, never mind. Yeah, Seaport's so disconnected. So is Southie. Southie, there's a few T stops, but that whole side of the city is just they said, "Fuck you, we're not putting anything over there." Rat list, Syracuse basketball. We lost again this week.
Oh no! I thought you meant the real Syracuse team.
No, we lost
Was it close?
It was 36-12. It was not close. We
never good to get tripled up.
No. The ref we had a real ref this week because the ref we usually have is just some guy who
the real ref.
Well, trust me. He started the game by calling I don't know what he called. He called a backcourt violation or a double dribble or something. And as soon as I saw him be that strict with it, I'm he's gonna have to loosen up real quick because he does not know the level of the kids that he is currently coaching. And by the time the second
hour and a half,
by the time second half came around, the guys my kids would just double dribble and travel, and he just look at me and smile. I'm thank you, thank you just for just not, because this would take so long. But yeah, tough luck.
I hate to see it for the team.
Indeed.
Rat list are the people that. So I sat yesterday at the Garden to see Tom Segura. We sat in the balcony, which is fine. The lady felt like she was gonna be falling the whole time, even when we were sitting. Thought because it's so steep, she was afraid.
In the Garden.
She was about to meet her impending doom
Sure.
because of gravity, and but for some reason, the people that were sitting next to us kept getting up. Now, it's one thing to get up when you go see a show like this during the openers, or you're waiting for the main act to come out. It's fine. Tom Segura comes on stage, no more than 3 minutes in, guy goes and gets up for like the third time. Like, this is what you've been sitting here waiting for. You're going to get up now? It makes no sense. And, like, of course, like, it's very narrow up there, so you have to be very careful where you're stepping and everything like that. So it was just like a really weird timing for him to be like, yeah, got to go pee or got to go get my third beer or whatever it was he was doing.
Yeah, that's whack. That's fucked.
It is weird going in there as a fan, though. It's the first time I've been in the Garden as a fan for a long time.
A while. I know.
Yeah.
I'll tell the story. Rat List.
Yes.
You saw Danny's tweet last night.
Yep.
So I went out with my buddy Danny, who OG fans. I don't think anybody would know who Danny is. No. We went out to like a couple bars. Valentine's Day. We're two single guys, so we're like, you know what? Nothing better to do tonight. So we went out. I got down to we got dinner first. Sat down. I was telling Danny I wanted a date the other night, and I was like, yeah, it went well. She was cool. Like, hopefully, would like to see her again. Like, literally, I looked at my phone, and 3 minutes before I looked at my phone, I got this text. So it would have been as I was telling Danny this, I got a text that said, hey, I didn't really feel a spark. Think we should just be friends. As I was telling Danny this, like, the timing could not have been any more absurd of me telling him that to getting that text. And he just started like pissing himself laughing. He tweeted about it. It was fun, and it was very funny. And it's I don't like, it's not deep enough for me to not tell it because it is a funny thing. But man, the timing could not have been any more ridiculous.
Well, that was the best because Jack had told me about this, and I was like, "How did it go?" He's like, "I had fun. I think she had fun. Whatever." And then like I think I was on the tee going to see Segura, and Jack's like, "Go look at Danny's latest tweet," and I'm like, "I bet he tweeted something hilarious. Like, thought he tweeted like a meme about barking or something like that. Like, I think is funny." And I just look at it, and that's how Jack broke the news to me. I was like, "Damn, that sucks."
Well, the crazy part is mid-date, the girl goes, "Yeah, I'd love to see you again. This is great." And I'm like, "Yeah, me too." And then,
really. That is weird. I feel like you don't say that if you don't mean it. Man, maybe you do. You just don't know what to say.
I'm not built for this life, man. Hey, shit's ass. That's all I got. You got anything else?
No, we can get out of here. We're at time.
We'll go. I'm gonna go to level 99. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment. Tell us what you think of the old All-Star break here, and subscribe, hit the bell. We're here every day with new content. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps up to one after each game. Other videos are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics.
I can't.
You can also find.
Is it me?
It might be you.
It might be me. Apologies if it's me.
I think it's you.
It's me. Keep going.
Okay.
I think it's me.
You can also find us on Spotify and Apple because all pods and recaps are up there for you. You leave us a follow. They'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star. We would appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. You saw us go through the emails today. Be like everybody that emailed in. Be super cool. Be part of the show, hbtcpod@gmail.com. The socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook's just the name of the pod. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jackson NBA. Mine's at Samuel France NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac-o. Come on. Taco.